Hi, I recently unboxed Zone Wars. This core set gives you everything that you need to play. It's nice mat, cards, tokens, some cardboard terrain, and of course some lovely miniatures to play either the Arc Mutants or the Gen Lab Tribe. Today, we're going to have a look at this. This gives you more of everything else, more terrain, another mat, more cards, etc. And also the models to play either the Mechatron robots or the Nova Cult, a group of psionic mutants. So, can you tell what's coming next? Should just point out the lovely artwork before I open it. It really is very nice. Sets the scene for the game. I think for something like this, a post-apocalyptic skirmish game, then the sort of feeling of the game, the atmosphere is really important. So first thing we've got, some card tokens here. There's a few gribbly monsters. I'm fairly sure, having opened up the core set, that these are going to be creatures that you can encounter whilst exploring the zone. That's nice, mixes it up a little bit. And here we have the card terrain, and I'm pretty sure, in fact, yes, this is what I'm really pleased to see. This is not a repeat of the models that we had in the core set. These are new pieces of terrain. And you can see here that this looks like a vehicle. I'm not sure if that's a bus or some sort of train, but that's fantastic. That's really nice. I've got some train tracks from one of the Wayland War Cradle kits that would go really nicely with this. That's lovely. More sort of activation tokens there, and more card terrain. That's great. I shall put this together. In fact, we've got a photograph here so we can see how it's going to look. That is great. I love that. The fact that you've got this verticality to the terrain, so you can have mutants flying up and down as well, because you've got a guy from the core set who's got some wings. I know that one of the robots can get a jetpack, so that looks really promising. Very pleased with that. Let's have a look at the models. That's great. This guy is a fantastic robot. I'll show you these properly later on, but that's really nice. So much character there. Lovely. More cards, again, so that we've got these nice and handy. I just think this is such a good idea. Any war game that doesn't provide you with cards for the characters now, I think is really lagging behind the times. Okay, that's very nice. I'll assemble some of this and show you how it looks. Here's a quick look at the Mechatron Hive. Now you can see here that we've got 5 very diverse looking characters. I think the colour schemes again are fantastic. I'm really looking forward to painting these. I'll show you the models in a moment, but I've just put out the cards, the particular modules that each robot comes with. And again, it's a really nice range here. So you've got this character here, Bender, who's got his pincers. As well as doing damage, they actually allow you to take an activation token out of the cup so that you effectively pin a model in place that hasn't acted yet. Now, I'm going to do a rules overview fairly soon, so you'll understand how that works. But for those who are familiar with wargaming, the idea of having activation tokens in a bag and drawing them out, I'm sure, is very familiar. For the Mecha King, he's got a system override, and that allows him, well, if I read this out, the model moves up to medium distance, then a used action token for one other robot model in sight per mutation point spent is replaced into the cup. That's really powerful. That allows him to command the other robots and effectively let them activate a second time in a round. Mark 14 has got a grenade launcher. Does exactly what it says on the tin. It's great at blowing stuff up. Wrecker is a repair unit, so he can go around repairing other members of the team. And then Scrappy has got a backup system, which means that normally when he'd be put out of the game, he sort of reboots, a bit like a Terminator, I suppose, coming back to life, and he's able to continue working. Now let me show you some of the models themselves. I'm just going to hold up this white here so you can see them clearly. Really nice models. Enough detail that paint will go on fairly easily. I'm planning to use some speed paint and then go in and do a bit of detail work afterwards, but you can see it's really nice. Just show you one other, I think Mark 14 here. He's very nice, quite sinister really. Very cool. Here are the mutants of the Nova Cult, along with the powers that they start off with. The Plutonia, who's the leader of this gang, has got Puppeteer, which is very powerful, allows him to take control of other players' models and force them to take actions. Psion is very good at boosting his own supply of endpoints. That effectively powers these special abilities. Should point out that all the characters gain a random power. So they get these definitely, but there'll be one other one on top of that. So Psion, it will depend very much on what the other power is. He'll always be able to run it, that's for sure. Tula has control over magnetism. That can be used as a protection against incoming shots. Maxim is a parasite. Now this is a very interesting card. It lets him use the abilities of other characters, including robots. You can actually duplicate the effects of modules, which are the sort of powers for the robots. And finally, Psycho has got clairvoyance. That allows him to scan the battlefield, and you have tokens put down where artifacts are that you can try and scavenge. He's effectively allowed to look at the cards, see what equipment is there to scavenge, and therefore decide whether or not it's worth going to try and get hold of it. Again, the models are lovely, and I think they'll take paint really well. Here's a look at the terrain assembled with a few of the models in place. You can see that it's very interactive. I love the way that we have some walkways here for the characters to move on. You've got 3 different levels of the building, which again will interact really well with the climbing rules, which are very slick in this game, and also with some of the fun mutations and modules, which will allow characters to go up and down the battlefield. Here are a few images of how the battlefield would look if I were to combine all of the terrain from both sets. I'm really impressed with this expansion, and I've thoroughly enjoyed unboxing it. You get more of everything for your game, whether it's the scenery, the models, and the cards, which I haven't really mentioned yet, but you get a nice selection of new zone cards. These are the sort of random encounters that spice up your games. You've obviously got the character cards. You've got plenty of new equipment. There's a decent selection there. And some of that is duplicated because it's starting gear, like scrap pistols, but most of it isn't. Most of it is new things that your characters can find out in the zone. You've also got all of these extra abilities for your mutants to use. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. If you want to start off with 2-player games, then the core set is fantastic. It gives you everything you need. But if you want big, sprawling battles with the chaos of multiple players, and I like that kind of thing, then this really is worth picking up. 3-4 players, this will give you everything that you need. I hope you've enjoyed watching and that's been useful, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.